Flex, Man United fan, United view. I come in peace.
Fuad, Tottenham Hotspur fan, DR Sports dog, and I come in peace.
Hello, darlings. I am Sophie. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I come in peace.
Robbie, Arsenal fan, AFTV. I come in peace.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to We Come in Peace. You should know what it's about already. If you don't, then stay tuned because it's going to be a good one. First and foremost, make sure you hit the like button. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes nice and early. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on because this is one of a few we're going to do today. So make sure you're right here, keeping alert on everything coming out on AFTV. First and foremost, big up the panel in front of me. We've got Flex representing United. We've got Sophie representing Chelsea, Fuad in the building representing Spurs, and the Don himself representing Arsenal, and just coming off the back of a birthday, Rob.
Thank you, bro.
Hey,
Yeah.
big one.
Thanks for our present, Sophie.
Well, I didn't get you a present. I'd like to say, what's the secret to keeping like wrinkle-free? Because you're just aging very
Cocoa
well.
butter. Cocoa butter.
Okay. You just put it on the head area. I love it.
Enough of that. Into the football now. So I've asked the panel already, people, to name their top 6 after the first 4 games. I know a lot of predictions were made at the start of the season, but now the transfer window's closed and now we're 4 games in. I think the panel are a lot better placed to provide their top 6. So I believe you've all written down your top 6 predictions for the Premier League season. Yep. All ready to go?
Yep.
Yes.
Show each other. Show each other. Let's see what we've got.
Boom.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. Are we the same, Rob? No, we're not. We've got. Oh, you haven't put Spurs in 4th, have you?
We're pretty close, me and you.
Yeah,
1 or 2 differences. We're not far off each
You
other.
know what? We do actually come in peace.
Yeah.
Who's yours? What's yours?
Yeah.
See, I did originally have Chelsea as 6th, but things have changed since the Forest game.
Can I see yours?
I've had to
Things have
reevaluate.
changed.
Do you know what? I've already seen a pattern amongst all of yours that I'm pretty sure if I asked at the start of the season, it wouldn't be there. But I know Spurs is 4th in yours, 5th in yours, and 5th in yours as well.
Yeah.
Yes, different. I feel like since Harry
4
Kane's
games.
left, you're all like the other players like want the shine.
But before the first game kicked off, and it was 2 days before Harry Kane had left, how many people would have said that?
No
I
one.
think most people were predicting Villa to finish above us, saying that they were winners of the window. They've had an incredible summer. And Spurs might be finishing 9th or 10th.
Nah, I never had that. Never had that. Even, obviously, if Harry Kane stayed, which at the point of really doing the predictions, you weren't sure at the time. I've always had Spurs around 6th, 5th-ish. If anything, because of the first 4 games, I've gone, bump them up to 5th. Yeah. If I'm being honest. I just feel like it's early signs. It's early for all of these, really, really, really early. But Spurs, they're playing with a little bit of freedom, you know, Ange ball. But obviously, a little bit of a bounce, you know what I mean? Shackles are off, but no injuries yet. You know, there's a lot more to come. It's 4 games.
Exactly.
Madison's better than Foden, you know.
Yeah.
It's all, you know.
Hey, come on. Baby steps.
It's all, Udogi's going to be, you know, top 3 in the world by the end of the season.
Cooking something there. We're cooking
So it's
something
only
there.
4 games.
Yeah, you know what, right? I'll be honest with you. I don't think I had Spurs in my top 6, but they have started the season well. I've been impressed by the style of football that they've been playing. Obviously, we've been used to your little boring, everybody behind the ball.
I'm liking
under
this
Conte.
praise. Go back to the praise. Back to the praise.
No, but that's what we've been used to, isn't it? We've been
For
used
4
to
years,
that,
we've
right?
been suffering.
And,
Sufferable.
you know, he's Postecoglou's come in. Right, I don't call him that Ange. I ain't no friends of him. Right? So, this Ange thing, I hate this Ange.
First name basis.
This drives me mad, innit?
How do you pronounce it?
Postecoglou.
Postecoglou.
Yeah. You should know with your Greek heritage.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't really care about what Spurs do, so I'm not really sat there like, let me find out who the new manager
Yeah,
is.
but I ain't calling him Ange. But Postecoglou, he's come in, and so far I've been quite impressed with the style of football that he's brought to Tottenham. But it's a bit like what Flex said. I have heard a lot of Tottenham fans getting a bit too carried away. There's still, and that goes for every team. You can't get too carried away at the start of the season. But there is still that, like, what's the squad like? But then why I've got them in my top 4, though, they have only got 1 game a week. Top 5, they've only got 1 game a week. They haven't got Champions League. I said Champions League. I said Champions League.
And our first time back. like you've been there before.
But no, they haven't got Champions League. They haven't got no European football.
They ain't got
And I
Carabao
remember-
Cup either, mate.
Yeah, they haven't got Carabao Cup.
Get it all out of the way early so we can
That's
focus
not
on
an
the
excuse.
league.
Chelsea that's not an excuse because Chelsea haven't got any of that, and we are still terrible. So
I've got you lot 5th in actual fact. I've got Spurs 6th, and I think
you've
for
lost
me,
your
I look
mind.
at 6.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I've
like,
got them higher than you. I've just realised,
I've got them 6. For me, that's progression.
absolutely.
I think we qualify for Europa. For me, I think no one would have seen this. We would have taken your hand off if you said this before the season. And I think you're saying Spurs fans are excited, but it's as I was saying to you, Kane sold 2 days before the window. If you told us 4 games in, our new signings are going to look this good. We might have a system that looks competent. Son might be the solution to the goal scoring option. We got some decent prospects coming. No one would have predicted that. So it's the
I
fact
get
that we
that.
see so many
Yeah.
positives. It's like, you know what?
You're not used to it. You're like, what's going
Ain't
on
gonna
there?
be so bad after all. And,
know-
and I've
you know
said
the
this
player
season
that's-
might be the lowest expectations a lot of Spurs fans have for a long time. And if we're gonna get 6th place European football, for me, that's progression. So I won't
You
complain.
know who's looked good for you lot has been Basuma. Like,
Incredible.
You know what I mean, he's
New signing
It's like it's
almost.
kind of unleashed him. You've had him, and like it's even when you got him in, everyone was thinking, "Oh, it's quite a good sign."
People were saying it was a bargain. It was 25 million.
25 million,
Yeah,
yeah.
but he's coming. He was really poor, but I think maybe the previous managers how they played him.
Yeah.
But now he obviously fits the system, and then you've got Madison who's come in and he's looked really, really good.
Pape Sarr was there
Right.
before as well. He's
Yeah,
taken another
yeah.
step this year. so-
However, I'm just saying to slow down a bit.
I think what you said.
4 games.
Yeah, and what you said as well is the squad is still only like a thin 11 at the
yeah.
moment. You get injuries to Madison, a Romero, a Udogi. Who are the
straight back to
replacements?
what, Højbjerg
It's
and Skip
Davis,
instantly.
yeah, Højbjerg,
Yeah.
Skip.
Which is what happened in the Carabao Cup. which you guys
Absolutely,
know.
and
Exactly.
you saw the complete golfing class. So for me, I think 6 is a
Yeah.
fair reflection of the
And,
season.
and looking round, you've got Spurs 6th, you've got Spurs 5th, Rob. Flex has Spurs 5th, and Sophie has Spurs 4th. So average would say 5th
Yeah,
amongst
5th.
the group. That's
Yeah.
how it's looking.
fair.
Something else I've noticed though, and I think it's the next team I want to move on to. United in 4th, Rob. United in 4th, Fuad. United in 4th, Flex, and United in 5th, Sophie.
no, but I'm sorry, babe. No.
And the question I want to ask is: you finished 3rd last season with a cup. Well, we're talking about the league. Very underwhelming prediction for a team that was meant to be headed into the right direction with this new manager. Why have you predicted United to finish so low?
I just look at the progress of the 3 teams that are put above us, and I don't think there's any shame in saying those teams are ahead of us right now. I mean, last year you could have argued they might have been ahead of us as well. You never know how things turn out, but I just think with the business that Arsenal have done when they were already ahead of us even last year, I think the business City, it's no point in talking about. We know that we're a million miles off City. And the Liverpool one's interesting because it could that 3rd to 5th can be really tight. It could be a couple of points in it. You know, I mean, I don't think it's going to be loads, but I think with Liverpool, they've got the track record that because they've fixed the midfield, they've got a lot of stacked forwards where you know that they're going to outscore a lot of teams. Yeah, defensively a little bit suspect, but Klopp's got mileage in there with Liverpool where that if it clicks, they just keep on going like a bit of a machine kind of thing. And I just think with Man United, especially with how we've started and loads of things that have gone on that I didn't envisage going on, it's chaos. It's chaos. Not chaos to the point where, you know, oh my God, we're going to finish 7th, we're going to be fit. I still think, like I've predicted, I think we'll finish in the top 4. But I just think we need to get the players back. We've got a lot of injuries, didn't foresee that as well. So that's going to affect our start. And while you've got Man City ready to go, Liverpool ready to go, Arsenal ready to go, we're already going to be playing catch up when I didn't think we would have, because I thought the signings would have been in, no injuries, and we could kind of kick on. But it hasn't been like that in these first few weeks / month or so of the season. So I've had to realign where I thought we'd be. So
So you're
I'm just being
putting
honest.
United there essentially default because the top 3 are a lot
I just think they're better teams. They're just further ahead than us right now.
further ahead. Yeah. Everyone seems to agree. Sophie, you said no with United, but you've also left Chelsea out completely. So
I have. Now, if you'd had asked me this at the very start of the season, I had us down for 6th because I think that's just... I sort of see us now where Arsenal were a few years ago. You know, when like Arteta just came in and everyone was like, we're terrible. But I think we have so many injuries. Reece James is out. Now Lavia's out. We've only just signed him, and Kunku's out. We literally just signed him, but he's not making an immediate return either. And I'm pretty sure Mudryk just went off in the international break a little bit injured. So we have so many injuries. And if you'd have watched the Forest game that I was at, we've got really good new young players. There's nobody with experience around them to sort of like guide them in the right direction. And I feel like when Mason and that was sort of starting to come in the team, we still had, senior players like Dave Aspilicueta, other players that could sort of,
guide them.
Put them in their place a little bit. So we don't really have that. And at the minute, we're just signing God knows whoever, whenever. And we do have some really good talent on the pitch. It's just not gelling well together, and we can't score goals. That's the issue. We can't score goals.
With Chelsea, I think I'm more banking on Pochettino. I think of all of their signings, he's probably the most important one that's going to make it all clear. And I think the one thing you lot do have, though, even with those injuries, is depth. You've been signing non-stop players, and I just feel like as the season goes on and those players come back, but for me, the lack of European football, I just feel like you guys are actually in prime position to just find your feet this year.
That's what I mean. I don't think we're going to...
And this is just early teething periods. I think games like West Ham and stuff like that, Chelsea fans are looking at and think, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
Early doors, man.
You're going to go through so much
I think we're going to become very, very good. Yeah, we're in a rebuild, not just in terms of the team, but with new owners as well. Like, it's all happened all at once. I'll get onto a situation with Reece James later. We're in, like, let me ask you a question. And the biggest thing for me, and a lot of the fans talk about it every year, because we can't score goals. When is the last time Chelsea had a consistent, brilliant striker?
Costa, isn't it?
Well, hold on. It's actually Drogba, though. Because Costa, yes, but even then he had behavioural problems, attitude problems. So he only lasted a couple, 2-3 seasons.
So the last proper
one was Drogba. And that, we're now going back to 2012. It's now like 2023. So we need to address that. I got off a flight straight to come here for you, so don't start it, please.
Treated him bad, mate. Treated him bad.
No, he treated us bad.
The thing with me, I haven't got Chelsea in my top six. I should do with the amount of money they spent. Come on, be real.
Yeah. But we win the league with the money they spent.
But I just look on it and I'm just like, it still doesn't make no sense to me what they're doing. The owners of Chelsea, you just named out some players there, right? That are better than the ones you've got now. Like, even like Aspilicueta and that, those, I mean, I know obviously he's aged now, but I look at the players that Chelsea have brought in and I'm like, and I've sort of said this before on some streams and I got a bit of abuse from Chelsea fans, but I'm just being honest. I don't see any player, obviously Enzo and Caicedo, top player. And it's not that they haven't got top players, right? And good prospects, but I don't see any player that makes you feel, oh my God. We're facing him next week, and oh my God, they got him, and him.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I'm just looking at the team, and I'm like,
Todd is taking.
They've just got a load of very good young prospects. And then the other thing about it is, like, when I saw the first couple of Chelsea games, they started off like they play really. You can see what they're trying to do. The patterns of play, quick football, is
high throttle. Yeah.
But have they got, like you said it, Sophie? Have they got those players that are sort of experienced guys that sometimes say to some players, and we had a lot of this last year as well. Experienced guy comes in and says, "Yeah, slow down a bit, man. Easy, just take it easy. Yeah, just." You know what I mean? It's just all really quick and fast. Like, that guy Jackson. There's a lot of players that are really raw. Really, really raw. And I'm not sure if it's going to be.
Well, I think that's the idea,
like you said, it might take a couple of seasons. And are Chelsea that patient club that waits a couple of seasons?
Well, Todd
didn't wait now. They've got to be now.
Wait on Potter.
No, but I think that was a different situation. I think
But what if this was a similar situation?
What do you mean?
Because he didn't wait on Potter, didn't he?
If Pochettino doesn't pick the results up by Christmas, it's long for him.
I think he'll still be fine for the season. I think Todd's MO is sort of now bringing really young players on 8-year contracts or very long contracts. That's what he's trying to do, which I don't think any team in the Premier League has done. He is still in his sort of American sports mindset, which does bother me. You can't fault the effort, but I think it is a bit disheartening to us to not sign sort of proven, consistent players.
But you should have to be
major expensive. They just have to be. There has to be 2 or 3 in there that have got maybe Premier League experience. And we need goal scorers. All we need is goal scorers. The rest of it will follow round.
But don't you think? Do you look on that team and say to yourself, with all the money he's spent, forget this year. I get it. You're bringing in players to build, right?
Yeah.
But do you look at that team and say, in the next 3 years, with those players we bought, will that team will win the league?
I mean, I think they could do, because when you're watching the game, you can see the sparks. Yeah, but I think you can see the sparks in there. It's more of a collective thing. And like I say, our main issue is the goal scoring, because we can pass the ball, we can get it into the box, and then, I mean, you can just look at the highlights of the Forest game.
Osimhen type signing,
And they can get that
all of a
still.
sudden it looks different. And the
Yeah,
thing
but
is, you say three,
1 billion.
well,
right,
you said
spent
three
since-
within 3 years. That will still give them 3 summer windows. I think they can.
No, but
stick-
I'm not on about. You're on about adding more now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying with what they've already spent.
You're saying with what they
they've
have
already
right
spent
there
over
now.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Do you see a team that in the next 3 years, say that was the team,
Yeah.
because they're buying for the future, they said,
Right.
right? So even if they add, surely they won't be adding much more.
A striker.
They spent a what, right?
Yeah.
They add a striker to that, say a top striker. Do you see that team winning the league? I don't.
Potentially, yeah.
Well, I mean,
I
there's
think
also...
if some of those players hit their top ceilings.
If you look at Caicedo in 3 years, if you look at Enzo Fernandez in 3 years, if you look at Reece James in 3 years,
But hold on
obviously
a minute.
injuries. If you look at Ben Chilwell, if you
Even
look at
Gusto.
Nkunku,
Look at him in 3 years.
Exactly, and he's not even on.
Yeah.
Gusto
Levi
looked good the
Colwill
other day.
in 3 years. It's exactly what he needs. He probably needs a year or two just to
Yeah.
find his feet at this level. Badia Shields, long-term injury. Fofana,
Mudryk.
long-term injury. Mudryk, like they have got good young players where if it does click over a certain amount of time, they can be a problem. But I disagree. I do agree that obviously right now, in this current moment for this season, it's going to be really tough for them because they've got no experience. When the tough times get a bit tough, Pocher's going to have to really get in his bag and motivate some of these youngsters. Like you said, the lack of leaders. It's going to be uncomfortable for Chelsea this year.
Yeah.
There's going to be some performance that might blow some teams away. Other performances, what is that?
It's got a better.
It's going to be like that.
Just, I want
It's
to...
got a better 11, Brighton or Chelsea
Well, at the minute,
at the minute.
statistics would say Brighton.
No, not even statistics. Just at the minute.
Whose squad would you rather
That's
have?
the- that's- but
players?
Chelsea.
Chelsea still.
11.
Starting 11.
Starting 11 right now.
Well, based on results and everything, you can only say Brighton have the better. We're like little babies.
We're going to go with Brighton
Evan
now because
Ferguson is
they're,
nice,
they're,
though.
they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Evan Ferguson is
Yeah,
nice.
it's like saying
though.
Evan Ferguson or Jackson.
But I do-
And Cecil.
I do-
Evan Ferguson.
I do want to just
Mitoma
touch
Mudryk.
on what he said about Reece James. Now, this is a really unpopular opinion, and I'm going to annoy a lot of Chelsea fans by saying this, okay? And don't get me wrong, I love Reece James. I think he's one of the best, right backs, wing backs in the league on his good day. But if you look at the last couple of seasons, him and Ben Chilwell, we've solely tried to build our team around sort of those two, and that's when our team has been the strongest, and we've got those in the team. But Reece is not going out for injuries for a couple of weeks; he's going out for months at a time. So when do you draw the line of, if we're going to try and keep those two, he either needs to keep his fitness, or we have to move on and do something that's going to be more stable, and consistent for the long term.
Because it's not available enough.
He's out for a couple of months now, however long it's going to be. And
Injuries
last
is a
season he
massive
was out for
problem.
months. It's not. I'm just saying he's not out for a little. It's not a little injury that you're going to recover from. These are really big injuries, and Ben's the same. So Ben
the
is fit
captain now as
now.
well.
Yeah, Ben is fit now, but if they keep getting injured, that's gonna hurt us long term and stop us from winning trophies and finishing in top 4 and things like that. So I just want people to be a little bit open minded. I love Reece James. If he can stay fit, I want him in the team for the next 10 years. But I don't think building a team around those sorts of players, especially when I think the captaincy was between Ben and Reece to start with, I don't think that's
Crazy.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Forget 3 years. Let's talk about now. And Robbie has predicted that the time is now for Arsenal. He's gone with Arsenal to finish first.
He doesn't
Everyone
believe.
else-
He doesn't believe.
No, he
that.
doesn't. You've been
doesn't believe
biased.
that.
Look, I didn't even put Chelsea in my top 6 because I'm being. I think they're
You
going to
could
be
be honest.
seventh.
You don't believe Arsenal are going to win the league.
Listen, right? I've got to hope that
They're the only
Arsenal-
team in capitals as well.
Oh
The only team in capitals as well. I just got
He comes in peace. He comes with peace and bias.
Oh yeah, what is
It's
that?
AFTV, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Still, I like that.
I didn't even. I swear,
What have you done?
I swear to God, I didn't even know something.
alright.
Everyone got lowercase,
I
yeah?
swear.
Say no more.
Hold on a
Zoom in
minute.
on that.
I've done it the other way round. I've done everybody in capitals apart from City at the top. What's that
yeah.
about?
Well, well done for that.
I'm
Yeah, listen,
tired.
right? The only, obviously, Man City are the clear favourites. They've started the season. They've won all 4 games, even though they haven't even looked great in some of that. That's a mark of how good they are. But I'm just thinking to myself with Arsenal, have we learnt from the sort of capitulation at the end of the season last year in that we might be a bit different this year? We started the season not as fluent as we did last year, but we still, we still won 3.
There or thereabouts, yeah.
We're still unbeaten,
around.
you know what I mean?
That United game
1-3,
says a
0-1.
lot.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking at it and saying, I still think we're going to be pretty consistent this year. I still think we're going to beat a lot of teams with the team we got. And I think if it got to a situation, obviously I don't think we're going to be all in points ahead, but I just think that we might be a bit more street-wise and street-savvy this year. So if it does come down to that fight, we could get over the line. I remember Liverpool, when they won they had a go at it before and sort of failed under City, and then they were a bit more streetwise the next year. Mm-hmm. So obviously, listen, if City has got to be the favourites to win it, but I'm saying don't discount Arsenal. The only thing with me is that injury to
Urian. Put him second.
Timber.
The Urian Timber injury.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Yeah, because he was looking like, that looked like a piece that we needed, and he was looking quality. And I'm so gutted that.
But the question is sorry, Fuad, are Arsenal better? Mm-hmm. Because you talk about having to close the gap. So like what you said to me, Turkish, with the signers that are coming in, obviously you finished, there last season. And because we know what City are on if they're at their best. Yeah. And sometimes they don't, like last year, they didn't even have to be at their best to win the league in the end, because Arsenal kind of fumbled a few results and then City just did what they do. But have Arsenal done enough to close the gap, or is it not really about that? It's actually you've got what you need. It's just about them players doing better.
I think it may not look at it at the moment because the manager's been chopping and changing at the start of the season, and he said he's going to try different things. And even though a lot of people have criticised that, if we just did the same as what we did last season, we ain't going to win it, are we? Because that's what we did last season, and it weren't enough. So I understand him trying some different things and that. But yeah, I think we are better. Declan Rice is a huge signing for Arsenal. I think he's going to be a big player.
Massive.
Right, so I think, yes, we are better.
Do you think Havertz will come good? And level you up?
What
do you think about that, mate? Can you talk about Havertz?
Every season you do it. You don't want a brand new, fresh Chelsea player. You want one that's on his last legs. So I'm going to buy him. You've done it with Kai Havertz. You've done it with Petr Cech. You've done it with David Luiz. You've done it with Willian. When do you learn?
How are you talking about a Chelsea legend like that for you?
I love him.
He's a legend.
You just knew when the time was to let go.
But sometimes it's time to go. It's time to go.
Listen, he's better than Mudryk.
No, babe. Right, with him in the team, you will drop points.
I think. Listen, I've been very underwhelmed by him so far. When that signing was made, I was like, my eyebrows were raised by me. I was like, I was shocked.
Yeah, it is odd.
But I think we've got to wait and see. I'm going to give it time. It's 4 games.
His confidence is shot at the minute now as well.
His confidence is shot. Even the other day for Germany, they got beat 4-1. He was up front.
Shot.
But I think the reason why the manager's brought him in is because he's like a versatile player, and he sees him as a guy.
Yeah.
I can put him up front if need be. I can play him in the.
Yeah, but then isn't that more of a substitute?
Do you not worry though that disrupts everything you've been building? Last season it was so cohesive, so consistent, and you're saying it's kind of like, you want to try new things for the new season to improve, but I always like to think if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And I felt you lost Xhaka, Rice has come in, it was almost like, okay, that's just a like-for-like natural replacement. But Havertz has come in now, and I feel like
looks off.
It's almost going to be Arteta's stubborn thing that he's going to make sure Havertz works this year. And I feel like that's going to disrupt a lot of the good that he's built so far.
I think it's still too early to say. Right, and the other thing I liked about Arsenal as well. Listen, I think again, if we are to do anything this season, we really got to try and stay as free from injuries. So it seems weird to say that now that Partey's out as well at the moment.
Yeah, he always gets injured as well. He's another one, isn't it?
But what I did like is when we played Manchester United. When I looked at our bench, I was like, yeah, we got a lot of options there, man. We got a very good squad now, right? And players like Fabio Vieira, I feel now this season is going to really come into his own.
Everyone was cussing him last year.
Weak, flimsy. I was funny. I was over in Portugal the other day, right? And I was in Porto. I was driving. I was in a taxi, and when the taxi driver knew I was from London, he was like, Fabio Vieira. He goes, he's a brilliant player. So I said to him, he had a bit of a quiet start, but he's starting off all right. So if players like that come good and stuff like that, I think
still got Trossard.
There'll be an improved. We've got a good squad now.
Let me just tell you exactly how this Kai Havertz thing is going to go. Okay, I know. This is exactly how it's going to go. He's going to be very average for most of the season because he's just not strong enough to play in the Premier League. Some players just aren't built for it. They're better abroad. he will come up with the odd goal in that very good, crucial game if his confidence is high. So this could be a
North
Champions
London
League
derby.
semi-final. It could be a North London derby. It could be a Wembley semi-final or a final, because he does pop up with those. But I'm just saying, as a consistent, like, you know, because he was one of our biggest signings one season. He cost a lot of money. But just consistently, if you want somebody like that, I think you would be better off shopping elsewhere and maybe putting him on the bench and having him come on as a sub.
But you have both predicted Arsenal second, so you don't think...
Because, I'll tell you why, because from what I saw, first of all, from what I saw against you in the first game, pre-season game, the Community Shield, City thought they'd had that, and you just kept on going. So that shows character, and you've got the mental stability, unlike Spurs, to win these sorts of games in finals and stuff. I love you so much. I love you so much. And then secondly, what really, I mean, I would have put you top if you hadn't have just had a slow start to the season, but not slow, but you know what I mean. But secondly, that Man United game, I just saw a different team to last season. I don't know. You were still great last season, but I think just to win it in the last few seconds and to come back after they'd already had a goal disallowed, didn't you? And then to go and score another, that shows a lot of character. And I think you're up there.
Yeah, you know, one thing I want to ask actually, right? You guys just asked, are Arsenal as good as they were last season? You could actually say with City, are they as good as they're going to be?
Yes. Don't fall for that.
No, hold on, because I know they've made signings, but they've lost Gundogan.
Don't matter, man.
Nunez has come in.
Don't matter,
Yeah, but
Robbie.
we haven't
Should have asked
seen.
a Portuguese cab driver about him.
Wait a minute. No, it's a good player.
Turkish step.
I'm the host, bro.
I'm just saying, we don't know yet. There's been 4 games gone.
we know, Robbie.
We don't know. Hold on, wait a minute. We don't know if Matthias Nunez is going to be as good as what Gundogan was. We don't know if he's going to be, you know, are they going to be as good as Mahrez? That's a good signing, Guardiola. But we don't know, like Mahrez, you know, those are 2 big players they've lost.
Robbie. Do you know why? Do you know why we can't say?
Everyone's
nothing?
just assuming.
Do you know why we can't say anything? Do you know why we have to assume? Because evidence tells us that.
Yeah, I know.
Anytime Pep redoes up the team, puts a little lick of paint on it, and you think, oh, this room's a bit different. Is it going to be the same uses as a lot? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just think
all his signings
stronger.
work. All his signings work. And the thing with City, I know we're kind of talking about City now, but they're different types of players, and I think it's kind of scary actually that Pep's gone, you know what? Let's go back to some old school, more maybe direct wingers, and get Doku in here and let him. Like what I had with Sane, or what I had with the old school Sterling when he was.
But is this
front.
Doku going to score as many goals as Mahrez? Mahrez a very underrated player.
Maybe not. Maybe they might score slightly less, but they're not going to win less.
No, I don't know though, because if you
I'm just asking that question.
when I look at City, I think of I just think speed. They're like the fastest team going. They're the strongest team going. You look at Haaland, you're like, how are you going to beat him? You know, I wouldn't want to defend against him, but I think Arsenal have something a bit like you've just got something about you, and I think the majority of it is the mentality. I think you've got a lot of young English players in there that really want to do well, and I think if you look, say for instance, when Chelsea last won the Champions League. On paper, we weren't the better team, so you can beat them. And I think that's what the Premier League's about.
Yeah, but that Chelsea was a one-off game. This is over an entire season.
No,
and
but
I think City have more proven winners and guys who are... I feel like Pep this season is almost going to set the precedent and be like, yo, there's nobody that's ever done 4 in a row. We can go and do this. United talk about 3 in a row. They talk about trebles. We can go and pass. That's almost like, I feel like Pep's obsession. It's like set a benchmark and then set it even higher.
What it will come down to will be your games against each other. They'll be very important.
I don't think anybody...
Even if Arsenal manage to pip them
shit.
to one. And what scares me, and I say it as a Man United fan, I'll just be honest with how I'm feeling. I come in peace. I feel like it's a bit of therapy.
Yeah.
Listen, they could win the treble again.
Speak on it. Speak on it.
I don't. This is awful for me to even contemplate this. It was awful for me last year.
I see Robbie's eyes of disgust.
Back to back trouble.
Like, listen, I'm already in the mud, so there's no point me like trying to act like I'm not going to speak on City about how I really see it. The truth of the matter is this: when I look at the Premier League, I just don't see how they don't win it again. I don't. Of course, FA Cup, there's draws
Injuries,
and
maybe.
stuff like that.
I think Arsenal could win it this
but
year.
they've got a good chance. And when I look in Europe, yes, okay, Jude Bellingham's doing great at Real Madrid, kind of on the comeuppance. Yeah,
Kane has gone to Bayern.
you know what I mean?
Nice.
Yeah. If any of them teams to play City over 2 legs,
Can you guarantee it?
City can win the treble again, and that's what I don't like.
What if Haaland gets injured? touch wood.
Julian Alvarez.
They'll get through.
Take your
It won't
time.
be as
Nah,
emphatic
if
with
Haaland-
one guy
if Haaland
doing all the
gets injured,
goals.
that's a big
It's a
impact.
big
That's a
loss.
big impact.
But
Did
I
they
still
not win the
think they will
title
get
without a
through,
striker
though.
2 years ago?
They did, but their team's weaker than 2 years ago. Them years, Gundogan and Morris were popping up with important goals at the end because of that lack of a
don't
De
know.
Bruyne or a lack of a
Because
striker.
De Bruyne is out as well.
They ain't got that no more.
That's a big if. I'm not
It's a
saying
big
they will
if.
win this. I'm
It's
not
a
saying
big
they
if.
will win the
Give
treble
Foden
again.
the keys,
By
man.
God, I hope they do. You lot ain't seeing me. They do it like, you know what I mean? You're lucky you see me now. But but if they do, I mean, God forbid that they do. But I'm just saying, with how good they are, they're gonna go deep into every single one of them competitions, where it's gonna be scarily like, okay, I need you lot to drop out of one now.
Let's put it this way.
I think the show's done there, people. I can't
I don't
even
even
lie.
want to say that.
Let's put it this
Okay,
way.
so
I
it's
won't
done
be going
there.
to the City Chelsea game.
We didn't
I'll
even
sit
talk
that
about
one
Liverpool.
out.
We didn't, but it is what it is. I think
Actually, you know, just Liverpool, I think they'll be challenging this year as well.
Second or third.
I've got them second.
You've got them
We
second.
didn't
innit?
go into them,
Second.
Yeah,
I've got you lot
Liverpool-
dropping off.
Yes, I see that.
Liverpool
I
will be
see that.
challenging this year.
That's not that I come in pieces. Or that's not like some agenda thing. I actually
that is
think
agenda.
Liverpool, the attack, it's the best attack in the
they've
league.
they've got a depth
Got
in
the
that
strongest
attack.
attack.
They've got
Goals
depth in that
win you
attack.
games.
We'll see. Listen, we've got the panel's predictions, all top sixes there. We want to hear yours and read yours below in the comment section. So make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you leave a like. Have we hit 1,000 likes? Because we've hit the 30-minute mark. So make sure we've hit that 1,000 like mark. Make sure you're subscribed. Notification bell on. Love for the love. And tune in again real soon. We'll be back. Peace.